Okay, today it's going to be linear equations, two-step equations. So it's really the first class that I did, but it's just getting a little bit more complicated. All right, so let's just read what they say and try to understand. Once again, the book that we're using is Beginning Intermediate Algebra, an open source textbook. It's available online, it's free. And also I'm going to be looking at notes from the book, The Humongous Book of Algebra Problems, which is, I got permission to use on the internet from the publisher. So let's get this show on the road. Let's read what they say. Often teachers, as usual, when they write things, it's not understandable. So we will go through that and dumb it down. After mastering the technique for solving problems that are simple one-step equations, we are ready to consider two-step equations. As we solve two-step equations, the important thing to remember is that everything works backwards with an exclamation mark. I don't know why. When working with one-step equations, we learned that in order to clear a plus 5 in an equation, we subtract 5 from both sides. Okay, let's just say we don't understand what she's saying. I'm not going to continue, or he. I'm not saying she, but it could be he. Probably, I don't know, Tyler Wallace, that sounds like a he. Let's look at example 53 and let's do it together. So, 4x minus 20 equals minus 8. So what we're really looking for here is this x, right? So we're going to clear all non-x things to the other side, right? We're going to take everything we can here that's non-x, like for example this minus 20, and we're going to stick it over here. So we have 4x, and here we're going to add 20 to eliminate minus 20, and here we're going to add 20 on the same side. We have to do the same thing on both sides, just like the previous class. Equals minus 8 plus 20. Minus 8 plus 20 equals 12. Do we all agree? All right. So now we want to get rid of this 4 here. And what this really is saying is 4 times x. So we want to subtract everything by, divide everything by 4 to eliminate that 4. So let's divide by 4 here. Let's divide by 4 here. And we get x equals 3, right? 12 divided by 4 equals 3, and 4x divided by 4 equals x. The answer is 3. Now you can always check your answer after. So we're going to have 4x minus 20 minus 8. That's the original problem. So let's do 4 times 3 minus 20 equals negative 8. So I didn't put the equals there. All right. So 12 minus 20 equals negative 8. And 12 minus 20 is negative 8. Negative 8 equals negative 8. You know that the x that we found here must be the right answer. So it's kind of cool. You can check your work after. Next problem, up for bid. All right, the same process is used. I'm right here now. Same process is used to solve any two-step equation. Add or subtract first, then multiply or divide. Consider our next example and notice how the same process is applied. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. 5x plus 7 equals 7. So if I want to get rid of this 7, I have to subtract by 7 both sides. So I'll get 5x plus 7 minus 7 equals 0 equals 0. 7 minus 7 equals 0. So 5x equals, just erase these, 0. When you have a plus 0, it means nothing really. This is still 0. So 5x equals 0, which means anything multiplied by anything multiplied by 0 equals 0. So 5 times what would give you 0? 0, right? So x equals 0. Boom! So there you go. It's 0. Or if you want, you can divide both sides by 5, and 0 over 5 equals 0. And that's how you do that one. And let's check our answer. 5 times 0 plus 7 equals 7. So 5 times 0 equals 0. 7 plus 7 equals 7. 7 equals 7. We know that works. That works beautifully. All right. Next question up for bid. A common error students make with two-step equation is with negative signs. Remember, the signs always stay with the number. Consider the following equation. Now this looks interesting. 4 minus 2x equals 10. So here we got to subtract 4 from 4, and here we got to subtract 4 on this side. So what do we got? This cancels. Minus 2x equals 10 minus 4 minus 2x equals 6, right? 10 minus 4 equals 6. Okie dokie. So now what do I do here? Well, I got to divide. I got to divide because here it's really saying minus 2 times x. That's what they're saying. So we would divide by minus 2 to eliminate that minus 2 from that equation, right? We divide this side by minus 2. So minus 2x divided by 2 equals x. 6 divided by negative 2 equals negative 3. And that is the solution. Boom. Next item up for bid. The price is right. Example 56. So 8 minus x equals 2. So the first thing you do is you're gonna get rid of the non-x stuff, right? So 8 is not an x. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna subtract 8, and on this side you're gonna subtract 8. So we're gonna have minus x equals 2 minus 8 minus x equals minus 6. All right, now this is maybe a little bit tricky. This minus x right here is really what they're saying when you see minus x is minus 1 times x. And how do you get rid of a minus 1? You divide by minus 1. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, this is very important. A lot of students, I think, get confused about this. Minus x equals minus 1 times x. And you divide by minus 1, and then you can eliminate. Got it? Okie dokie. So what do we have left? X, right? Because we just eliminated the minus 1. So we have x left equals minus 6 divided by minus 1. When you're dividing two negatives, you get a positive number. And anything over 1 is whatever you were dividing it over. So that equals 6. X equals 6. Boom. All right. Next problem. Next problem. Solving two-steps equations is a very important skill to master. As we study algebra, the first step is to add or subtract. The second is to multiply or divide. This pattern is seen in each of the following examples. So we're going to go through all of them. Just to let you know, this is like the hardest thing ever when you don't know it. And then when you know it, you're going to find it so easy. I don't know why. It's one of those things in math. Sometimes some things in math are always hard. But this one looks so hard when you're doing it. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty relatively easy. All right, let's go. 57. So first problem, minus 3x plus 7 equals negative 8. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this bugger right here. Minus 7 here, right? We always do what we do on one side, we do on the other side. So minus 3x plus 7 minus 7 equals 0. You don't have to write it. And negative 8 minus 7 equals minus 15. Looking more closely at this now, minus 3 times x over minus 3 would give us x, right? Because we want x. So same thing on this side, minus 3. Sorry, that's a 15, not a negative. That's a negative 15, not a negative 5. So x equals negative 15 divided by negative 3. Two negatives equals a positive, and that's our answer. Next problem. Minus 2 plus, I'm over here now. Minus 2 plus 9x equals 7. First thing we're going to do, look at this bugger right here. I'm going to get rid of that by adding 2, and we're going to add 2 here. Very good. So this cancels out, becomes 9x. We don't have to write down the plus sign here, just 9x equals 9. How do we get rid of this 9 and 9x? If we recall, 9 times x divided by 9 equals whatever. Here, we bring down our x, equals 9 over 9 equals 1. And that is the right answer. Moving along, 8 equals 2x plus 10. So, what do we do here? Well, here's the part of the equation that contains our x. Plus 10, we're going to remove 10, right? Good. And here on this side, we're going to do minus 10x plus 8, right? Because this is positive. So equals 2x, because these two cancel. Minus x plus 8 equals minus 2. So 2x is really 2 times x. And what do we do to remove the 2? Look familiar? Right? We divide by 2. And here we divide by 2. Now a negative divided by a positive equals a negative. So that's negative 1x. How does that look? Yes, x equals negative 1, just like it says on the problem. Moving along. 7 minus 5x equals 17. All right, so this is really, when you see 7, it's really a positive 7. We need a negative 7 to remove it. And here we need a negative 7 here to balance out the equation. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So what do we have? We have negative, remember this negative right here, you got to bring it down. Negative 5x equals 17 minus 7 equals 10. And then negative 5x divided by negative 5. We'll divide this side by negative 5. That equals x equals negative 2. You can see that right here. Always remember, negative 5x equals negative 5 times x over negative 5. These cancel out and you're left with only x. This is how we got this number right here. Moving along, minus 5 minus 3x equals negative 5. Well, a little bit of a tricky problem here, but don't worry about it. Negative 5, to get rid of this, you have to add 5, right? Because negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. And here you're going to do the same thing, plus 5, which is coincidentally the same thing as you're doing on both sides. So negative 5 plus 5 equals 0, minus 3x equals negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. So there's a bunch of zeros here. This one we can remove. Negative 3x equals 0. So how do we get rid of this negative 3? Well, divide by negative 3. And you do the same thing on the other side. But 0 over anything equals 0. So x equals 0. Because this is eliminated. And this 0 over negative 3 becomes 0. Because 0 over anything is 0. All right. Moving along. Negative 3 equals x over 5 minus 4. Now this looks bad. You're looking at this fraction in the middle of this equation. You have an x here on top. Let's do it better. This looks very hard. But just do what you're most comfortable with first, and that's getting rid of this negative 4. How do we get rid of that? We add 4 on both sides, right? So 4 minus 3 equals 1. Negative 4 plus 4 equals 0. So you're left with x divided by 5 equals 1. That's what you're looking at right now. Now let's think about this. How am I going to get rid of this 5, this over 5, this divided by 5? Well, take a look at this. X over 5. What would you have to multiply here to get rid of this thing? I just put a 5. X times 5. Boop. And you erase it. And here, of course, you have times 5. So by multiplying both sides by 5, this equals x. This equals 5. So the answer should be x. Is that the answer? Yes, it is. All right. So I'm going to do another video with the last problem. And plus, I'm going to do some problems from the book just as a bonus.